Hello, eighth graders. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to drop in and give you a little more guidance on your memoirs for the rest of this week. Remember, your memoirs are due Monday of next week, which is close to your last day of school. Sorry for the noisy birds around here, but it's kind of lovely, so I'm going to keep it. This is your memoir rubric, which I put out on Teams yesterday, so you should have had a chance to peruse it, but for today's lesson, I will go through it with you to clarify whatever it is that is maybe a little unclear by talking you through it. Of course, please leave me all the feedback you have, questions about how to interpret this rubric, because sometimes, I'm not as clear as I'd like to be. So, mechanics are for, by the way, all these are going to be 5-point categories except for the prompt, which is the heart of your memoir, which consists of 15 points, the bulk of it. Mechanics mean punctuation and grammar mistakes. If you get less than 3 in your memoir, then you have earned your 5 out of 5 points. All of the other ones are just a bit above that. So 4 to 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 or more is how you would earn the lower points in that category. That can include lots of different things, not including apostrophe when you need to, a misplaced comma, a sentence that is a run-on sentence that can be a mistake as well, or typos. If you read through something at least 3 times, you'll catch 90% of those typos. I guarantee it. Read it out loud, read it to someone, give it to another family member to edit. That's my advice for that. Length, between 1 and 2 double-spaced pages. That is our golden target zone, and that does mean that going overboard with like 4 or 5 pages is really going to hurt you. And I mean that it's going to hurt your grade. And I mean that because this is a book that's being compiled, so I want them to look somewhat similar in length, just so it's a coherent book. It all works together. So if you go a quarter page above or below the maximum or minimum, then that's going to be a 4. And if it's a half page above the 2-page limit, or a half page below the 1-page minimum, which would be not much at all, that would be a 3. And then same with 3/4. And then for 1, if you wrote a book or you just wrote a single sentence, you're not going to get more than a point. Let's look at the prompt. This is what I'm looking for in these. Student reflects upon what God has taught them through the event of the virus or through their 8th grade year overall. There's a lot of space to interpret that, and I gave you a lot of methods for going about that in the past lessons for what I'm expecting you to write about. What God's teaching you can be so many things, because God is a teacher and God has a lot to teach us through our times of struggle, especially, and our disappointments. So you could take that how you'd like. Now, there are ways that you can miss this, though, and that is maybe you talk about growth and you talk about your own life, but it's super broad, and I couldn't tell you apart from any other student. It's got to be specific to your experience and what you were going through. Maybe it's not a personal memoir and you just talk about only the society level of what society has been like going through COVID-19, and that's not really a memoir of your own life. So I want it to be personal, I want it to be specific, and I want it to be something that you've learned. So a way that you've changed over this year. Don't just describe who you are in general, but a memoir is documenting an event or a year and how you are a different person than you were at the beginning of the year. And so what is it that's changed? As long as you pinpoint something that has made you think or develop as a human, then you've nailed it for the prompt. That's what I'm looking for. And you can always check out the distinctions between the different points there. Tone, finally. I'm just going to read it for you, what I have down, and then I'll elaborate. While occasional humor is welcome, the student takes this memoir seriously and writes meaningfully about their personal growth through this season/year. In other words, humor is just part of being human. We all have a sense of humor, and it's more than, I love it when it comes out in your writing. I love it when you have a little wit in what you turn in. That's more than welcome. Um, However, I don't want you to just make a joke of this assignment, and I don't want you to make a joke of COVID-19. It's very easy to make those kind of demeaning jokes and use sarcasm a lot, but let's avoid that for this assignment especially, and try to talk about how there's some real change happening, and how we've had to adapt our lives and learn to grow out of that. So make it meaningful, make it sincere. Of course, add a joke here or there, but overall, I need you to take it seriously. Finally, recording. This is essential. Record yourself reading one important sentence from your memoir so that I can combine these all into a class video that we can play at your graduation. And that is what I'll be needing from you on the day that it's due. So share that with me, however you were successful in sharing your speech, because that'll be a headache if you try something new. So just go with what worked in the past and use that method to get me that shorter speech. Of course, that shorter sentence that you're reading for this assignment, it's going to be a lot shorter. You're not sending me an 8-minute video like you were before, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Yep, and by the way, this was mentioned before, but I will be contacting a few of you to ask you to read your memoir at the graduation or record it for the graduation, depending on what that looks like. So be watching your emails, because I would love to have a few of you share on behalf of your class. It's a really special opportunity. So if you get asked, kudos to you. It's an honor. And I hope that you take the chance if it's given to you. All right, I'm going to keep it under 8 minutes again. I like this new pattern of shorter lessons. Hope this rubric makes sense. Send me any emails you may have if it doesn't. Remember, no membing this week, unless you have minutes to make up. Then this is your week to get on that and get that full credit. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you next time.